And I want to be clear, we're not waiting until those fires are over to start helping the victims. We're getting them help right now, as you all know. People impacted by these fires are going to receive one-time payment of $770, one-time payment, so they can quickly purchase things like water, baby formula, and prescriptions. So far, nearly 6,000 survivors have registered to do just that. And
one-time payment, $770.
$5.1 million has gone out.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey.
Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. And you try to we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Please, somebody tell me there's something wrong with my ears or something. Am I hearing this correct? And I want to know how y'all feel about this, man. I really do. Please comment down below. Shout out to them beautiful patriots. And we send our prayers to California. You know, it's devastating. It's sad. It's heartbreaking. You know, but $770 a one-time payment. Am I hearing this correct?
People impacted by these fires are going to receive one-time payment of $770. One-time payment. So they're going to receive one-time payment of $770. People impacted by these fires are going to receive one-time payment of $770. One-time payment. So they can quickly purchase things like water, baby formula, and prescriptions. So far, nearly 6,000 survivors have registered to do just that. And
is being governed, and the state of California is being governed by people who have lost sight of the basics of governing. They have lost sight of the idea that we pay you a tax so that you take care of basics for us. And nothing could be more basic than preventing the burning down of, as you just said in your introduction, an area twice the size of Manhattan. Right? It's hard to conceive of how big this is. I woke up to text messages. Almost everyone we know has evacuated their home. We know people that have lost their homes. And the reason that there's so little trust, and the reason that you saw in that clip that mother confronting Governor Newsom with such rage, is because there's so much that led up to this moment. There was, just to choose one example, in our neighborhood, a middle-class neighborhood in LA, not particularly fancy, the police, if you called them for a robbery, and there were many, many robberies in our neighborhood, they would take an hour, sometimes 2 hours to show up. It had become almost like Brazil. It had become normal for middle-class people, upper middle-class people, to pay for private security, despite the fact that they were paying enormously high taxes already. So was it the fact that, the city cut the spending in the fire department by $17 million? Was it the fact that they were spending more on homelessness initiatives than on preventing fire? Was it Look, I don't know. What I know is that the broader context in which this fire is happening is a context of total incompetency and leaders who are putting niche luxury issues, ideological issues, over and above the most fundamental things, keeping you and your family safe from crime, keeping you and your family safe from fires.
That's the job.
That's it.
I'll see it, man. Prayers for California. What a disgrace. Incompetence. Then the Biden administration comes out. We're going to give everybody a one-time payment of $770. A disgrace, man. Meanwhile, illegals is costing us taxpayers almost $40 million a month. I mean, unbelievable, man. And wakes up and sends millions and billions over here, over here, over here. Then he goes off on a nice vacation. Yeah, this administration needs to be deeply investigated. People need to resign. People need to be walked out with handcuffs, with their hands behind their back. And we want to send our prayers to California. Prayers, man. A disgrace. But you know what? Check this clip out.
I don't think Americans are making this connection. And the way we can see this in right here and now, take a look at the monthly change in Google searches. Look at the searches for wildfire, up 2,400%. My goodness gracious. This is the most amount of people searching for wildfires ever, going back since Google Trends began back in 2004. But look at climate change. Look at the change. It doesn't go hand in hand with wildfires. It's actually down. It's down 9%. And I also look in California. There has been no increase in the number of searches for climate change. So the bottom line is this. Americans are definitely interested in learning about these wildfires. They're interested in following the news about the wildfires, but they are not making that connection with climate change.
They are not making that connection.
That's a really key metric you're looking at there, the connection. Overall, Americans being worried about climate change. What have we seen over time?
Yeah, we have seen a lot of extreme weather events over the last few decades, right? Hurricanes, heat waves, wildfires. You might expect that Americans worry about climate change with climate change worry a lot. You go back to 1991, it was 35%. Now, it was a little bit higher in 2007, a little bit higher in 2022. But look at this. In 2023, the last time we have data, 39%. That is not statistically significantly different from this 35% back in 1991. So despite all these extreme weather events, Americans are really no more worried about climate change than they were, what is that, now nearly 35 years ago? I mean, there's just no real trend line here, Mr. Berman.
So the question is why?
Why? Why are they not really worried a lot about climate change? It might be because they feel like there's not a whole heck of a lot they can do. So climate change, humans contribute a great deal. Again, there's no real trend line here over the last few years. 2019, 49%, 2020, 49%, 2023, 46%, 2024, 45%. That's actually down 4 points from where we were back in 2019. And so less than a majority of Americans believe that humans contribute a great deal to climate change. So the bottom line is that is a big reason why they don't worry a lot. They just don't feel like they can do anything about it.
So the trend line is going down, even as scientists say that the intensity of these storms and these conditions are getting worse.
Even as the extreme weather goes up, humans are not exactly as worried about climate change as they necessarily once were.
Dozens of arrests for suspected looting. The LA County Sheriff with a stern warning for anyone trying to take advantage of this ongoing disaster.
Regarding any illegal activity that may be occurring in these areas, don't do it. The fact that anyone takes advantage of anyone who's been victimized already, whether it is burglary, looting, or any other crime, whether it's a scam of some kind that you're conjuring up to make money off of the poor people that have been involved in this.
National correspondent Griff Jenkins is live in Malibu. The sun is up. And what do you see, Griff?
Well, Dana, I see widespread damage and destruction, just charred remains of homes and buildings. But you mentioned the looting there. There were 4 more arrests yesterday, bringing the total number of looters to 39 in the Malibu and Pacific Palisades area. But yeah, let's look at the sun coming up here. Whoever lived in these homes, Dana, must have woken up every day and said, I've got it made. I've got everything. Well, today they have nothing. You can see the steel I-beams in the foundation. It's just rubble, and it goes for miles up the iconic, beautiful Pacific coast. You can see a burned out SUV, another car there, and it comes with this warning from the National Weather Service, the particularly dangerous situation, the PDS warning. It's the highest the agency can issue, intended to invoke the highest level of urgency for residents to evacuate if indeed these brush fires that firefighters are trying to tamp down with these high winds of 70 miles an hour for the next possible 48 hours. We've talked to a captain with the LA Fire Department, Eric Scott. Here's what he said about the dangers people are facing. Listen here.
This just stirs up all of the other embers because things are still burning. It's still active, and it's so dry because of these winds that the brush or fuel, if an ember lands on it, has a 65% of ignition. So we're chasing fires.
Now, back out here in Malibu, obviously there's nothing left to burn here. The fire, Palisades Fire, came across the hills and burned everything in its path till it met the Pacific Ocean. But you can see, we'll show you an image now here in Malibu yesterday. Sheriff Luna, who played that soundbite, saw a firefighter he thought was in distress. Turned out it was an individual who was not a fireman. He was arrested because you can't be in this area. Now, there was another incident. I want to show you this video of a man that was found with a blowtorch. ICE sources confirming to Fox. Turns out he was an illegal immigrant from Mexico. He's being held on probation, not charged with arson, but it is certainly complicating the issue here. As you can see, trucks, emergency fire trucks and crews trying to come in here, trying to do their work, all a part of the complex situation with this high red flag warning on its way as we expect a press conference from Mayor Bass in the next hour. Dana?
Griff, thank you so much. And our next guest is promising looters will be prosecuted and punished to the full extent of the law, calling these acts despicable. Nathan Hochman is the newly elected LA County District Attorney and a former Assistant U.S. Attorney General. How can you make it clear very early on that looters will be prosecuted? Are you able to expedite some sort of a hearing so that it can stop?
That's exactly what we intend to do. We have sent an unmistakably clear warning to looters, to people who are engaged in trying to scam, people who have suffered from these tragedies, to people who are even thinking about arson, that if they want to engage in these crimes, they will be arrested, they will be prosecuted, and punished to the full extent of the law. At 2 p.m. today, Los Angeles time, we're going to announce charges being filed against certain looters, against an arsonist. And when the public hears and when would-be criminals hear the types of punishments that they are facing, they will think twice about committing these crimes.
Can I ask you one thing? Maybe you're not able to say, but on charges against an arsonist, do you think that that person was responsible for any of these fires?
No, the person who will be charged was not responsible for any of the large fires that have taken lives, but was effectively looking at the opportunity, this as an opportunity to set off fires, which is, again, incredibly dangerous and will be even more dangerous as these red flag warning winds come through Los Angeles over the next several days.
Yeah. Some of this water's under the bridge, but I guess you could look to the future and try and figure out how you're going to best help the folks who are trying to recover. We were with a guy last hour, lives in Altadena. This guy was just shattered. Here's J.D. Vance talking about what needs to be done.
There is a serious lack of competent governance in California, and I think it's part of the reason why these fires have gotten so bad. We need to do a better job at both the state and federal level.
What can you do now, knowing that all that's behind you and you're dealing with all that dust and ash, Nathan?
So what we can do, in fact, I'm one of the people who has been evacuated. My sister lost her house in Pacific Palisades. And what we'll do is we'll first deal with people who are looting, people who are taking advantage of these crimes right now. Then we begin the recovery effort, and sadly, we're going to have people who want to take advantage of the recovery money coming in from insurance or government benefits. We're sending the same unmistakably clear message to them, that if they want to rip off people who have suffered these type of tragedies, we will come after you. We will throw the entire book at you. So please do not commit these crimes. Our goal is to deter them in the first place, thus saving a whole lot of victims in the process.
Sir, you are newly elected. Do you have the resources you need in your office to take on this monumental task?
We have over 750 deputy district attorneys, some of the finest lawyers or prosecutors in the nation. They are motivated and inspired to go ahead and help people. They always have been. They haven't had the opportunity over the last several years, but they are all fired up right now to go help the residents of LA County get through this tragedy and make sure that the criminals who want to take advantage of them meet full justice in the system.
Yeah. What do you think went on here? I mean, was it just a confluence of events of Mother Nature that could not be overcome? Or is it the empty fire hydrants in the reservoir that holds 100 million gallons of water that wasn't working? What is it?
They're going to be looking into the causes of the various, whether it is arson or man-made. They'll be looking into the initial efforts to try and put out these fires, to figure out if Los Angeles was prepared for it. And ultimately, when we do the rebuild, Los Angeles has shown a history over decades of not only rebuilding, but rebuilding better than ever. And we will be participating in that effort.
Okay.
Nathan Hochman, you're new to the job. It looks like you're certainly up to the job. We appreciate you coming on the show.
Need a lot of help.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nathan.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.